Welcome to the Heartwork Podcast, where we delve into stories, struggles, and triumphs of entrepreneurship, leadership, and personal growth. I'm Dr. Sarah.
And I'm Dr. Marisa. We're here to guide practitioners, entrepreneurs, leaders, and those just navigating the complexities of life on a journey of discovery that explores the dance between passion and strategy, heart and hustle.
With candid conversations, insightful interviews, and plenty of laughs, get ready to uncover how leading with heart can transform your business and life. Let's dive in. Welcome back to another episode of the Heartwork Podcast. We are so excited. We have Callan Faulkner on today. She is the founder of the Uncommon Business Co. Gosh, when you guys start hearing her, you guys are going to go nuts because she's probably going to blow your mind. Not only on AI, but also just like humanity, humanness. She truly has this presence about her. If you ever get in her orbit, that you would just be blown away by her. So we're excited because not only does she train high frequency humans to use AI, but she also truly helps heart-led entrepreneurs build systems and strategies that don't steal their soul. With a rare blend of spiritual grounding and system savvy, she's known for turning chaos into clarity and helping entrepreneurs build businesses that feel like freedom in motion. I had the privilege of meeting Callan at a wealthy practitioner event that Stephanie Wigner actually hosted at a pop-up over a year ago. It was I can't believe that's literally not even a year ago, Callan, that I got a chance to meet you. And no joke, literally feel like my mind exploded the moment that you started talking. And every time you talk, I feel like my mind exploded. Not only just, again, on AI, while also just the way that you talked about how the human behind AI can be able to really move and build momentum within a business. But again, like I said, I feel like there was just this understanding of a presence that I think our listeners are really going to be excited to hear, because the way you talk, you've had to go to places to be able to understand what you do know. And so we are so excited to have you on the show today. Thank you so much for taking time and out of your busy schedule and being here with us today.
Oh my gosh, you guys are so welcome. I love talking to people in your audience. I know we're kind of all in the same sphere. I got introduced to this sphere through Dr. Steph Wigner, one of my best friends, and it's been really, really fun. This is such an amazing, heart-led, soul-filled community, and it just resonates with everything we're talking about, which probably seems weird for people that came on. They're like, isn't this the AI girl? I'm like, yes, and people that thrive are going to have to bring the soul into it. So it's really easy for your community to do that.
I love it too, because you've actually done a lot in the chiropractic world with all of us. It's obviously not only just us, you've talked to a bunch of chiropractors and obviously business owners. And obviously we can talk about that, but you've done some courses for chiropractors specifically. So if you are ever curious about that, we'll throw that all in show notes. But I'm curious, just to get this kind of started, for people to have an understanding about who you are, what you do a little bit, and then just more so the turning point for you, because you've talked a lot about you don't want to just build a business for the sake of being successful. You want it to actually have heart. You want it to have soul. What was the turning point for you? Because you also were in real estate under land investment stuff. And you've had a journey when it comes to just building and scaling businesses. So what was kind of the turning point that really got you to a place of hey, something can be different for me?
It's really crazy. I was actually just reading my journal from last April. My girlfriend Nicole is reading the book about morning pages. So she's getting us back into writing every single morning, just brain dump everything out. And I was like, oh, I need to find a notebook. So I found this old one. I was reading it from last April, 2024. And it had some of the entries of, I'm running a land business at the time. I'm teaching real estate investors how to automate and scale their business. I've been in the technology consulting world since I graduated from college. So this is nothing new. Automation, building systems that scale, trying to remove humans and put humans in the position of what they do best, activate people to their highest potential. And I saw a ChatGPT demo in July of 2023. And the moment I saw it, literally, it was my entire body just was I am obsessed. I'm obsessed with this. I saw they were documenting a process inside of a business, and he just recorded himself talking about the process, and then he took the transcript and he told ChatGPT to be a world-class technical documentation writer and create a step-by-step process that is perfectly formatted with headers, subheaders, bullet points, and to ask any clarifying questions. And 2 minutes later, the whole thing was done. Mm-hmm. And it's just, when you see it happen in real time, it's everything flashes before your eyes, or at least for me, it did. It's all those things that I'm sitting there on a beautiful summer day doing on my computer that suddenly this tool can help me do.
Mhm.
And in my journal, I was writing all these things out of like, gosh, I feel resistance to my land business. I'm like in meetings, I even wrote down, I'm like, I feel nauseous in my land business. Like, I don't want to be doing this, even though there's money coming in, even though that we're doing great deals and I'm one of the best land investors and everyone's looking to me. It's like, it's just back to what you guys preach. It's like, if your heart is not in it, it does not matter what money you're making, what is happening. And my heart was just not in it. And it was so in AI. So I made that decision in the moment to shut down my land business and transition everything to AI coaching last April 2024. And I met with a branding friend. In 1 week, we spun up a name, Automate to Accelerate. That was the name of my first program. I started pre-selling it. I didn't exactly know what I was going to sell. I did a masterclass. I sold it at 7,800. Not one person bought it. I did the same exact masterclass the next week. I said, F it, I'm just going to do the same thing. I'm not going to tell anyone. I'm going to drop the price in half. And I had 35 people buy it at whatever. It was like $4,000. And I was like, wow. Just, okay, we're doing it. 100K lot. Okay. And then just week by week, I just started learning and figuring it out. And now we're right in the middle of our third round of this 10-week AI course. And it is bang up. It is so freaking fun and good. And I've got my team, we're scaling. And so it's been really exciting.
Can I ask just, do you teach that course live every time?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's amazing.
Yeah, twice a year now. So we do one in the spring and then one in the fall.
That's amazing.
At a live component, I do have a recorded course called Foundations of AI, which is amazing. It's just like that foundational understanding, and it's actually a requirement for anyone coming into Automate to Accelerate. But there is something about the frequency of humans being together, doing this together, and getting wins together and being like, you will never believe what I built, and everyone looking at what they're building and giving them the kudos. And it's so much fun.
Always something special about community.
100%.
Even just sharing the knowledge, like my team has been more interested because ever since knowing you and playing around with Claude, we've been using it in our office more and more. And I showed one of my team members and she was just like, what
is that?
And like, holy smokes, this is my new best friend, right? And so I won Foundations of AI several months back and got to take it. And even just the knowledge of that, but then getting to be able to share that, like, you guys have no idea what this also means. Like, let me show you this framework and this prompt that I got to learn. And then just the way that they have evolved and adapted that, not only in their personal lives, but also in our professional ecosystem, is really, really cool. And you talk about continuing to, obviously, more and more people are starting to learn about this, but also learn that it's not just about utilizing the tool as a tool, but really developing the skill to learn it. It's like a carpenter. Yes, you have a hammer and a nail, but there's a skill behind how to utilize that, right? And so more and more people are really looking to understand how to maximize the usage of AI now that it's become more commonplace and more people can recognize when you are utilizing it. But you're building that strategy and you're scaling your business and you're growing exponentially.
Yes.
So whenever someone is in a place like that and doing that, what a tremendous, tremendous thing. How do you keep your personal rhythms
to
help shape the work that you're doing? And obviously you want to see your business grow and thrive. You want to see it continue to snowball and avalanche. How do you prevent yourself from getting caught in the avalanche versus just causing the avalanche?
Yeah. Well, I think, and I want to touch on what you said. I want to talk about this skill set, and then let's talk about what does this really mean for human beings and how we can kind of co-create with AI, because that's essentially what we need to be doing. So I believe that we're going to look back 10 years from now, and AI fluency and AI skill sets are going to be as normal as knowing how to grab emails, spin up, do research on the internet, flow things together, grab your Google Doc, your Google Sheets, organize things. It's all, this new. Imagine right now we have typewriters and paper files, and now this layer is coming in that I can imagine during that time it was really scary, and people were like, do I have to learn this? Like, maybe I can just hire someone that knows this. It's like, no, everyone has to learn how to build, think, work through, build systems, create playbooks using AI. Every single person. There's not a person will not know how to do this. And then the second thing is using AI as a part of our workflow and a part of our business is actually activating every single human being to their highest potential and keeping our people in their zone of genius. So what do I mean by that? Let's say you have someone working front desk in your office. I don't believe that their zone of genius and highest and best potential is answering the phone and scheduling that appointment. That's not their highest and best use. And it depends on the human. But for some people, they actually love improving things and making things better in the office. And if they had the right skills, they could start thinking about those onboarding systems, and they could work with a Zapier expert to like really work through that client onboarding and make our scheduling easier and create a texting line where you can text in and it auto reschedules your appointment. Those things are not, that should be happening right now in the office, but our people are told what their role is, and it's not where they should be, in my opinion, where they should be operating. I think it's also creating an environment where people can't hide behind a task that's not, it's not their highest potential. Like, I think we have to push people to say that is a role that honestly the AI should do. And then the second thing is, how do we kind of keep our rhythms and our humanness to this? And offline, or right before we started recording, we were talking about the moat. The most successful businesses, I believe, over the next 10 years are going to have AI backends, AI powered backends, and high frequency human front ends. So what is a high frequency human being? This is also something we need to define. A high frequency human being is someone that is vibrating at a frequency. If we've studied Joe Dispenza, he's done studies where up to 8 meters away, you can feel the frequency of another human being because of the frequency that comes from our body. When you put a human being inside of something called a Faraday cage, where there's no energy coming in, there's no Wi-Fi, there's no 3G, there's no radio waves, there's nothing in it. Within microseconds, you will know what emotion that person is holding because of the frequency and above the energy that's coming off of their body. So a high frequency human being is not always going to be high frequency every day, but a person that has worked on their emotional regulation and knows how to regulate their nervous system to most of the time operate at higher emotions. We know that shame and guilt and anger and feeling victim lower our vibration. So people are like, I thought this was an AI podcast. Bear with me. So if that high frequency human is a part of our business strategy, then creating human beings that know how to regulate their nervous system, they know how to digitally detox, they know how to sunset their phone, they're waking up at the right time, they're doing their whatever that is for you. Is that meditation? Is that walking in the wood? Is that working out? Is that lifting? Is that yoga? Is that swimming? There's a reason internally that human development is it's going to be a division of my company, because I own like that high frequency human is so important. So using AI is a cheat code to working through emotional regulation, to working through issues, to not holding things in our head. So it's a combination. There is that AI, I believe, is such an incredible tool. Is there darkness and like people are using it for bad stuff? Of course. Same thing with the internet. Same thing with cars. Same thing with planes. Like people use that stuff for bad, but there's also so much light and so much good. And then it depends on who's using it. Like if they're using it to create work that genuinely represents what they're. So for example, for a chiropractor, if you're writing an email and a newsletter and it's technical and it's robotic and it's not fun to read and it's not valuable for your audience, and they weren't so glad that they got that email, your audience should be so effing excited that you emailed them. They open it and they read it and they say, damn, I love reading Dr. Sarah's newsletter. She makes me laugh. She always has amazing stories. It's a joy to read this. That is completely different than 99% of the content that's coming out of AI, and it's not AI's problem. It's the human's problem.
Ooh, that's good. You and I had a conversation a couple months ago that like unlocked something for me that was just kind of like I don't even know. Like there was just this, like the way that you said it, I don't even know what it was. I've had so many people tell me these things. Like that's what's the crazy part is like sometimes you'll hear something and it just clicks, right? And it just is like, what the freak? So she made a comment to me as we were just at this dinner and she was saying, we were just talking about like how things can flow from your heart and just really kind of just out of the abundance of where you have desires and what you get really in alignment with. And she's like, who knows, maybe this time next year, you could have a $5 million like leadership coaching business. What about a $50 million business? You know, like, and it was like this, for me at least, it was kind of this switch of like, for one, is that even possible? Yes, it can be possible. But how do you, like, even for you to be able to make that comment to me, you've had to do the work to be able to even know like that's possible for yourself. Right. And to be able to call that out in other people. So what has that journey been like for you to do some of those huge quantum leaps within your own self and also within your business?
That was such a fun conversation, Sarah. And really it was just, I felt like for you, it was almost like the permission. It was like, well, first of all, permission to even think that way. Like I thought the same thing. Who am I to think that way? Who am I to think that I could do a 50 million? What does that even mean? And then all this stuff starts to come up like, well, where's the money going to go? And oh my God, I'm going to have payroll is going to be like $15-20 million a year. And then you reverse engineer, you're like, that means I'm spending $1.5-2 million a month. Like, can I handle that? It's like, that's just all the work you're doing, right? Like this is the stuff to get to where you need to be, is the permission to believe. I have been working really closely with a man named David Guillaume. So I reached out to him he was on Lewis Howes's podcast. He is a Kabbalah coach. And Kabbalah is not really a religion. It's kind of like the inner workings of religion. So it really breaks down different things, laws of the universe, just ultimate truths, wisdom from ancient sages. And he co-founded a company called Mary Ruth Organics, which I think a lot of Kairos probably know about. It's $1 billion business. It's the largest liquid vitamin company in the world. And I have had the absolute pleasure of working beside him and watching him as he navigates things. And what I've learned from him is that if you're connected with the light of the creator, anything is possible. Anything is possible. Anything your heart desires, Sarah, you are already on there's already a timeline where you have a $50 million leadership business. Like that absolutely is possible. And if you have certainty beyond logic that that's a possibility, all it is just moving the puzzle pieces around. So I think for the way I see him operate, I mean, he grew that to $1 billion company in 10 years. In 10 years, it went from he was on the floor of his New York apartment to a $10 million apartment in Los Angeles that I'm spending time in. So number one is being around people that even allow you to believe, when I even say 50 million, he like laughs at me. He's like, well, 50 million, like, okay. And that's what I'm around now, where I'm like, 50 million to me is like, oh my God, it's unbelievable. It's not about money, right? It's just about, money is an easy way to put possibility around things. The way that it's really interesting. When we do goal setting in his business, he actually sets no revenue goals. There's no revenue goals in his business. We have to know where the money is at because spiritually, that's a law of like understanding where you are financially, health of the business. But my quantum leap has come in many ways, starting with the belief that anything is possible if I'm around the right people, if I'm holding the right frequency, if I'm doing the right thing, if I'm listening to creator, if I'm following my intuition, because the downloads are trying to come in every single day. It's just a matter of if I'm following what I want to follow. And then now it's building with a purpose. I think someone just said on the call I was just on, once you get past 3 million in revenue, it's not really about money anymore. Like, what are you going to do? To say if we're at healthy profits, I'm profiting 1.2 million a year. What am I going to, am I really going to spend $100,000 a month? Maybe, but like now it's about impact and purpose and your why. And for him, he has massive purpose. He wants 100 million people to learn about Kabbalah. Every day when we make decisions, he says, is that getting us closer to our goal of 100 million people learning Kabbalah? Yes or no? And we say, not really. He's like, I don't care about that. I don't care about that. So that's been a big thing for me now is what is our why and what wakes me up in the night? And I think about it every single day. Now I think about the person. For me, it's the person. Her name's Donna. I think of her every day. She's working in a cubicle. She has no natural light. She has all artificial light. She is working on a sales proposal because her manager told her to, and she's been doing it for 30 years, and she's missing her kids' soccer or grandkids' soccer game because she has no idea that these systems are possible. And she's being worked into the ground because of negligence of her leadership. And they're not teaching her how to activate her to her highest potential. And now there's passion and purpose again. I'm not in this. Of course, I know money will follow, and that's a frequency. Money is just an energy that will follow when value is created. But anyways, long-winded answer to how did you contemplate this belief and having a reason why you're doing this.
You just shared a profound reason why you're doing what you're doing. And it's the way that you're kind of bringing it all together, like you're redefining the way that people are going to evolve in their own American dream and like what that looks like. And this like time equals money, work hard and sacrifice equals
100%.
Positive life equals abundance. And so talk us through like how this version has evolved over time and where you really see that going for Donna, for her grandkids. And obviously you've talked about bringing the human with the systems. What do you really see that looking like and operating in a day-to-day way?
Yeah, I see where we will be from 3 to 5 years from now is that Donna will have the skill set and the ability to own her own AI system. She'll probably have AI agents working for her. She will manage them. They are doing a majority of that work. She's training the hell out of them. She's training them. Nope, not like that. Nope, not like that. Nope, that proposal, I would have said it like this. How could we improve your instructions to say it more like this? She's so good at that, where her role is not about how many hours did Donna work, which I actually believe is such a terrible way of even assessing performance in general. I believe humans should be assessed on their output. And I think it's a little bit different in a chiro office. And that's why I'm so excited for AI to come in and be that front touch and be, hey, when you schedule your appointment, no worries. We can do that. AI is already doing that right now. It's going to be so much better even 3 years from now, where Donna can be training her things, making sure the output is there, improving the way that her business is operating. I don't think she's going to be in the office 8 to 5.
Right.
I think she's going to be able to have more freedom because she's going to be judged and her performance is going to be based on output, which is, I believe it should be always based on the value that she's bringing to the company and not how many hours she's putting in.
Yeah. I always think of AI as like little like middle school or high school interns, right? Like we're not fully developed on the brain yet, but we have these little motivated people that like really want to do their best and really want to like help.
Sometimes they're confused. Yep.
Like, there's a little cultivating that happens with that. You're refining the way that you're talking to them, with them. You always say, be nice, like, be mindful of the way that you're interacting. If you're coming at it with an attitude, like it's going to pick that up and not be as fruitful with you back. And so I like to think of, ChatGPT and Perplexity and Claude and all these different, audio pens like as little interns that you are cultivating and helping you maximize your time and efficiency because they're there to use as tools.
100%, 100%. And it starts with just, it's over time, right? Like foundations is that place we just start. It's like, let's just say we're learning how to be a person that could architect a house. Okay, well, we just have to start with like seeing different houses and walking through and like starting to understand the basics. Like, okay, cool. Like, look at that kitchen. That's so cool. Oh my gosh, look at what they built over there. And over time in your own business, I'm sure you're seeing this, both of you, like you'll see something in your business and be like, oh my God, are we not using AI there? And everyone's like, what do you mean use AI there? It's like, then the thing starts to pop up. And then you start working on it. And you're like, oh my gosh, we need to build a prompt. Every time someone onboards, we have an onboarding call. We take the transcript. That turns into like the first go at what their care plan needs to be. And then that gets turned into the script. And then we have a sales coach, an AI sales coach, and it preps the CA on how to deliver the care plan. It's like this flow. And we're like, and then it just starts happening where it's like, oh my gosh, we are already doing these things. We're already so good at it. And now our little AI people can help us along the way, be even better, make it faster.
For those that are listening right now and you're just like also mind blown, we're going to give you access to some ways that you can connect to Callan to like learn about some of this, because also in my head I'm like, it's like I would have just imagined people are just listening to me like, wow, how can I do that? How, you know what I mean? Like, so fun.
Yeah, and I will say this is another language, and it's just the time, and that's why that is really what we've become so passionate about, and it's been a lot of different angles of like, what are we really doing, and what we really are doing is training humans on how to use AI. That is what I'm so passionate about. Training humans to recognize a workflow in the business that is human centric, that's human heavy, that requires time and energy, that isn't what people like to do. Like, no one probably likes building out a protocol after someone just came in for their first appointment. The doctor met with them for 45 minutes. There was all this amazing information shared. I am so passionate about creating possibilities for 4, 5, 6 clinics. And oftentimes it's because we can't scale the main doctor. We can't scale that knowledge. And now we can, if we have humans on the back end that are thinking like, oh my gosh, well, we need to build those frameworks over there. We need to take that information and make sure we have a database. And this is not very technical. Like, I think that's the thing too. It's just communication, organization, and ruthlessly systematizing the business as much as we can.
So, talking about like systems and scaling, and obviously you came from land and real estate, and now you are operating this company that you started yourself, and you have brought more people on to operate it with you and utilize AI. And so you're teaching them. But like, oftentimes for us, nobody really goes to school or goes to leadership camp and learns how to like lead other imperfect humans with hearts and with motivations and with emotional paradoxes within themselves, right? So tell us about a time where you were growing in this company and growing and scaling and bringing more people onto your team, and where leading them and leading others really required you to first like flip the mirror around and work on something within yourself. And what has that taught you about authentic leadership as you're guiding these humans on this journey with you?
I love it. I am so obsessed with mirror flipping. That is my favorite pastime. Ever since I went through my divorce a few years ago, it just forces you to say, okay, sure. Was there stuff that she did? Sure. But what did I do? What did I do? And what am I not bringing into this next relationship? And I feel like the last 5 years of having this business, it's been a lot of what did I do to cause that? And what can I not do in the future? And that's just even in our partnership, in friendship. That skill is so important, and AI is incredible at helping you work through, hey, this is the whole situation. I love feeding AI and telling AI what my personality scores are. So I always will tell it I'm an Enneagram 3. I'll give it my Colby test, or it knows this in my memory. And then I always tell them what my team members' Enneagrams and Colbys and Strength Finders are, so that we can have a conversation, making sure I'm not hitting any inner child wounds, because I have done that before. I think the biggest thing right now with me leading this team is identifying what I'm doing that's causing us to be bottlenecked. And the biggest thing that I'm doing right now that's causing us to be bottlenecked is keeping my tight grip on the curriculum, and almost having a limiting belief that no one can deliver it as well as me. No one can create it like me. All this BS crap that is ego. It's all ego. So I have a team member that's recently joined us. His name is Carter. He is incredible AI coach. Incredible. And I've realized that I'm not letting him do it. I'm like, okay, well, I'll do it this week. Maybe I'll just do it this week. Maybe I'll just do the finance one this week. And he's sitting here like, I want to do this and I can do this. And it's had to be a flip of the mirror of what is making me so anxious. What's the worst case scenario that happens? What are all the data points that I'm not looking at? And literally this morning, Carter ran a Q&A yesterday, and I had a text from one of the people in our group and was like, Carter is literally insane. That Q&A yesterday completely changed my life. It's like, okay. Okay. Yep. So it's almost crazy, you guys. It's like there is a part of me too. Like, what about me? Do you think I'm great? Like, it's unbelievable what your brain will do to sabotage the growth. And it has nothing to do with, did you hire the right people? Are you building it the right way? Is it a great product? It is just that that child that's in there of being like, do you guys really like me still? Do you guys still think I'm special? Look at this amazing thing I can do. And the truth is that to get to 10 million, I cannot be doing special things, doing the magic shows, showing the demos. I have to train magicians. That's how we get to 10 million. And it's going to be less about how special I am. And that's the fun part now. Is like, what is my worth? And that's why I have Worthy. This is Jamie Kern Lima. She wrote a book called Worthy. And it's like, I'm worthy regardless of people are giving me the compliments or not, because I am such a words of affirmation.
How have you done? Marisa and I have done a lot of inner child work and really gone to those places. And for people that maybe haven't and also are curious about it, because I think at the end of the day, we all know, like what you just said, you were your own like worst enemy in that moment, right? Like
100%
got in the way because of still that need for wanting to feel loved, wanting to feel cared for, wanting to be seen, all those types of things. How would you invite somebody into going into that space for themselves? This may not necessarily be AI, but maybe it is, like how could you invite somebody to get curious about things that are kind of blocking themselves?
Oh my gosh. It's really hard. And for a long time, I was completely numb. I mean, my nervous system required the divorce, the absolute rock bottom, world is ending, to even go there. Because sometimes in life, you're just, everything's fine. I'm good. Can't really feel anything. So almost allowing and knowing that everything that happens that feels so negative is just creator saying, I'm trying to talk to you and you are not listening. You're not listening to me. So I'm just going to make it really, really, really bad. And then eventually it's health stuff. And that's where it's going to get really bad. So number one, just knowing that if I don't address this now, it's going to continue to get worse and worse and worse. I think inner child work really starts by just listening. And if that's there's on ChatGPT mobile, you can turn on the voice mode, and I will put my headphones in and I will go walk in the woods and I will be like, Spruce is my voice that I talk to. I will say, I need to extract all the things that I'm feeling and thinking. I literally you could even say, I want you to be a world-class inner child coach right now. And I want you to ask me questions one by one, and do not stop asking questions until I tell you to extract what my nervous system is feeling right now. Where am I? You don't have to say this, but this is just inner child work. Where am I not feeling safe? Where am I not feeling love? Where am I not feeling validated? And how I can become the best version of myself. And it will start asking questions, and it just requires space. And I remember I've even written in my notebook before this sentence of, I don't want to hear I don't even want space, because that means I have to listen to my phone.
Yeah.
And I don't know if I'm sure a lot of people can relate with that, where it's like, I know if I got the space, I know all this crap's going to come up and I don't want to do it. And just knowing, it's like, imagine you're hiking and it's like you're lost, and there is literally this incredible buffet on the other side. They've got grass-fed steaks being grilled. They've got oysters. You're on the top of a mountain and you can't see it. There's like this big wall. It's like, that's the inner child one. And on the other side is this incredible spread of like possibility. And I just can't. I'm sure you guys feel the same way. It sucks going through it. You're like, oh, this is the worst. And then at the other side, you're like, oh my God.
I think it sucks so hard because you're so afraid of the goodness that's going to come. And we almost like to sit in the, like, because you know what I mean? Like when you think about, and I think about it, like on the flip side of it, it felt so icky and it felt so messy because of the pre-programmed ideas of what we needed our world to look like, right? And what we needed it to like feel like. And for some reason, it's like this programmed like story, at least that I had for myself. I'm like, well, it's going to feel icky and it's going to feel messy because I got to go through these emotions. While at the same time, like they were so freaking like beautiful. And then the love that you find in that space and the value that you find in your space, like it like wipes out the mess, like, and so it's just it's this weird dichotomy where it feels like it's so much work and so much hardness, while at the same time it's so flipping beautiful at the same, you know what I mean? So it's like, yeah.
And it's the key.
It does
It is the
require
key
time,
to
like-
success.
Yeah.
Go ahead, Marisa. Yeah.
There are so many people that are so in the storm, whether it is just nervous system dysregulation, whether it is just massive depression, whether it is just complete, utter black heart, like numbness, that there's not even the capacity or the space to be observant or to even be able to start having those conversations until it's just been long enough and life has continued to put things repeatedly in your path to force you to face the same situation. Or maybe not the same situation, but the same emotion, the same depth in different arenas of your life and the way that it shows up over and over for you to finally then have the recognition it's almost like a snap. There is some kind of pivotal point that just creates this like immediate break, and you are forced to either just completely and utterly surrender or grow through it. And even in surrender, you're going to grow through it, but it's almost like an acknowledgement of the fact that you have to grow, or just a complete and utter shedding and nakedness in that surrender, that then there's literally nothing else to do but climb. And it's so hard because you can't put a timeline on that for a person. It could take someone 3 months, but you have someone else going on 3 years. Just had a conversation with a local woman at a coffee shop, and she's like, I got divorced several years ago, and for the last 3 years, I have been completely and utterly numb. And it's not until just recently in these last couple weeks that I realized that I continually experience a shitty week and a shitty week and a shitty week, and I feel like crap, and I keep feeling this way, and I do the therapy, and I do this, and I try and do that, and I try and talk, but I have no motivation, and I'm just lost. And she's like, but one day I finally realized it.
Yeah.
And now I'm actually able to have the capacity to start having the conversations with myself.
This is it. It's called metacognition. It is thinking about your thinking. It is the key to making as much money as you ever want, to having everything you've desired, to having the most beautiful relationship, to creating community, is thinking about the way that you are thinking. When I went through the divorce, I hired a spiritual coach, and best decision of my life. He had me read, the first thing he had me read was Power of Now by Eckhart Tolle. And the whole idea is that there's you, your essence, your soul. I'm going to call it your soul. It's inside your physical body. It's connected to a higher consciousness. There's your mind, and then there's your thoughts. And the thoughts are like clouds in the sky. Your mind is watching them pass by, and then you are thinking about that whole process. And every thought that you have, so let's just say a thought is you just pitched a care plan, and you're like, I'm going to crush this. It's priced perfectly. And they say no. The thought, for a dysregulated person that's not thinking about their thinking, the thought comes up and they say, I'm not worthy. They didn't like me. I messed up. I'm not good at sales. All of these things. And we move into dysregulation. We're spiraling. We're looping. We wake up in the night because we're now one with our thoughts. Our soul and our thoughts are like tied together, like little tiny things. And the truth is that what happens to me, and I think those thoughts every day. I literally was on a boot camp call with like 500 people, and there was one woman that said, I'm lost. And I cried after the call. I went upstairs and I cried. And my girlfriend's like, what the hell is you, Ann? That was like the most insane call ever. Did you see what people were saying? And I'm like, I didn't see any of it. I just saw the one woman say, I'm lost. Well, I found out later that it was a woman's friend, and she has ADD, and she was like biking and watching, like all this. So I stepped back and I thought about what I did. And what I did was I focused on me. It was about me, and it wasn't about her. And it wasn't thinking like, well, maybe something's going on with her. I'm not sure, but I'm going to focus on the 99% of the other stuff, whereas focusing on all the people that are saying yes to your care plan, doubling down on the most successful clients. And I am just the most firm believer. I have never made this much money my entire life. And it is no coincidence that it came after having to do all of this emotional work and think about where my inner child was so scared of being rejected, and where I was feeling like I was unloved in places. And I don't know where the abandonment came from. And sometimes I don't care where it came from. My therapist was like, what happened to you as a kid? I'm like, my parents were so amazing. And she like kept pressing. Where did it come from? I don't know where it came from. All I know is that I have a little bit more of an abandonment, anxious attachment. That's just how it is. So more on, let's just move through it and recognize, when do you feel a pit in your stomach? When do you feel a tight chest? When do you feel cloudy? And think about, what am I not looking at? Like, it's hard to coach yourself. It's like virtually impossible. But anyways, it's so important to be thinking about your thinking constantly.
Speaking of not knowing where things come from, did you ever read the book It Didn't Start With You? I know you're like into
Yes. Yes.
Yeah.
So good.
Sometimes it's not even like things we experience in our lives,
Yep.
but just those connectivities. But speaking of like trusting your internal guidance system, when was there a moment where it was like you were listening to yourself and starting to observe and experience those conversations that maybe conflicted with what other people were trying to call you into, or trying to give you advice on, or trying to, push you towards?
Well, this is like one of the biggest examples why your intuition and our connectedness to a higher consciousness is going to trump AI every day. Because if you looked at my life from the outside, if I went into AI and I said, okay, I want you to look at the numbers of, I'm going to give you my P&L, my land business. I'm going to give you all the momentum we have. I'm going to give you my pipeline. I'm going to give you the momentum and all the P&L and the momentum we have for my consulting business for real estate investors. And then I'm going to tell you about my love for AI and what happened last week. And I want you to tell me what I should do. Here are my goals in my life. No way in hell would AI say, shut everything else down and start a new thing. And that is where, of course, people, the people closest to me and my like absolute ride or die people that know me were like, nothing's worth, your soul. Like, you have to go on. But there were some more of a masculine energy people in my life that were like, dude, you should really finish out those deals. Like, there's a couple $1 million on the table for each of those. And like, that could be generational wealth. Well, look at my business now. We're on track to do 4 million in revenue this year at 40% margins. Next year is going to be, even who knows what the possibilities are. I'm making way more money than I ever did in the last businesses. So it's back to the intuition. It's back to the connectedness. And regardless of if it's a higher power or your higher self or Mother Nature, I don't care what you believe in, but there is feeling of when something's right and wrong, and data and books and models won't get you to that answer.
I love that because, if you are not cued into you, obviously you're not going to even understand what you're being called into. And that kind of leads into my next question, because I feel like it's just so easy in our society to like feel like, okay, well, I see this person doing this over here, so I also need to be able to do that and maybe do it even better. Or like, okay, that's $50 million is possible, but I'm just going to do it on the track of this individual because it's just a proven thing. And I understand like there's proven success things you can just follow and adapt. However, how would you encourage, and what have you had to navigate when it comes to like, this is like your lane, this is your story, outside of having it to be somebody else's, and I'm just going to adapt this and have this go. But that would have been out of your limit. That would have been out of your potential.
I think it's almost like I have an advantage, because who has successful coaching businesses that are training humans on how to be good at AI? No one. It's brand new. So I don't have a mentor that's like, oh my God, I built an AI business that teaches humans how to use AI. This is how I did it. So I have the permission, which every single person should be doing this, to build this the way that I want to build this. I believe that Creator is already showing me the way I need to build this. So let me give you an example. In my business, we are getting hit up every day by companies, thought leaders, celebrities of come into my business and build out our AI systems. I will pay you whatever you want. I literally got offered $5 million salary to quit this and go work for a person that we all know to build out his AI systems and just be his right hand and be his AI person. And I said no. And right now our biggest thing is we're getting all these corporations and they're like, come in, I'll pay you $100K a year, equity, profit sharing. And I'm not going to do it because the way that I want to build this, first of all, I don't want to be owned by I don't want a company to be like, well, show me what'd you do, and come in and do all this stuff. And every month, like, show me the ROI. Like, it's not my responsibility. It's your responsibility. I'm going to give you a skill set, and then your humans are going to go in and crush this. And of course, I'll show you, like, this is what other people have done. But that's me. Like, I just don't want that. I personally want to create incredible in-person human experiences. I don't know. Most AI coaching companies aren't doing any in-person human experiences, and that's just not how they're doing it. So I think when you're looking in the books, even the books now, like, look at some of these books, they're not telling you to delegate to AI first because it never existed. So I think we have to take all of this framework, even if you're paying $100K a year to a coach, every time a piece of information comes into your body, a recommendation, a framework, you're reading a page in a book, it has to go through your intuition layer. Does that feel good in my system? Does it feel good in my system to create an enterprise division where we have, 25 companies doing $100 million a year, and they're calling us to talk about privacy and security and data? No, I don't want to do that. I don't know. Go hire a privacy person. I'm like, I don't know what to tell you. I want to do this. And I believe that creator is going to create success the more and more I follow my individual blueprint and the framework and the pathways that light me up, and not build just because someone else built it in a different way.
That's such a good lesson for people, because I think it's so easy, especially maybe even if you're like in a startup phase, or if you're like, at least I know for myself, like sometimes you have such momentum, and then all of a sudden you'll hit this plateau and you're like, I got to look for the next thing to take me to this next stage. And so it's such a good reminder of like, it needs to come through your intuition framework to that inner voice, whatever, like that higher power, that connectiveness, the creator, God, whatever you want to call it. Like, you're going to have rest and peace when it comes to that next movement and that next step. And you get to just trust that versus trying to like force something to happen at the same time. So
100%. And, some people could, like, I've worked with some people in the past, and they're like, well, what does the data say? And like, what does history say? I'm like, I don't really know. So my next step is surrounding myself with people who are looking at all the numbers and the data, and like running the models, and looking at, for me is I want to build this company so that someone could look at it and want to buy it. Do I want to sell it? Am I building it to sell it? Absolutely not. And it's going to be very hard to get me to do that because of how much fun we're having doing it. But it's irresponsible for me not to follow best practices around, for example, no one wants to buy a company that's reliant on a human. So it can't be reliant on me. So now I have to train coaches. Well, education companies usually only value at 2 to 3x EBITDA. So now I know I need to have IP and framework and models, and I need to, okay, great. We're following the best practices. But even in a chiro business, if you're like, wow, I seriously like really resonate with working with high performers. Like, well, everyone else is scaling their business this way, but I really love working with athletes. Is anyone ever done this? It doesn't matter if anyone's ever done it. If that is what's speaking to you, that is a message. That is a divine message. And you're called to go down that path for a reason. And if it doesn't work, you're called to learn that lesson of why it didn't work. And that's just the whole thing. It's just like following what's feeling good in our system. Because if your body is saying no, then it's not it.
Yeah. What aspects of your journey, others' journey, do you feel like most often gets overlooked or not like embodied enough that you're recognizing more?
I will tell you exactly what it is, and it's happening all around me right now. It is hiring the wrong human, the person that maybe can do the job, but they're not at the standard of the frequency that you are calling in, that you require. And I have made this mistake of hiring people that have more of a negative view and outlook on the world. They haven't done the emotional regulation work. And it's, if you ever get hired for my company, we will ask you about like what has happened to you, and what kind of trauma has happened to you, and how you don't have to talk about the trauma, but like, what have you done over your lifetime to work through really difficult things that have happened to you? Mm-hmm. And it's a non-negotiable. And for me, when I have people in my life that are incredible at what they're doing, they're incredible, but they bring me down. Mm-hmm. I bring my energy down. And I think it's the hardest thing that we don't talk about as we scale is letting people go. When it's not a good fit and it doesn't make sense on paper. Again, it's like when someone looks at it, they're like, "What are you talking about? She's literally she's so good. She's doing this, but my nervous system doesn't like there's friction, and I can't explain that. I can't. I just feel it, and that is that's like my calling right now is like ruthless blocks and boundaries around low energy, low frequency individuals around me. And I'm probably going to be called, the B word and like, she's so particular. And like, I tried my best. I did everything I possibly could. And she still didn't like it. Yeah, probably. And that's just that now a new identity of I don't have to be liked and I don't have to give a reason. It just is. It's just a feeling.
I think it's cool because at the end of the day, like, even if you may be viewed that way, you literally are also potentially limiting somebody else's potential by keeping them on.
Absolutely.
Because of the sake of like, just because you may want to like they may be badass and they may be brilliant, but at the same time, it still may not align up frequency and like vibrationally wise within your orbit. They may just go excel somewhere else. At the same time, it's just not the space that they're meant to be at that place. And it's easier said than done. I 100% understand. Like, and that's been something, I mean, even just in my company, like all that, like I can't, there have been so many people I've had in that I hired them because I was trying to fix them.
Absolutely.
And I wanted to like, try to like help their life out because I was just with my own wounding and stuff like that. So yeah, it's brilliant. I think that's a beautiful space that you could be in because at the same time, you're only going to level people up and you're only going to call people through and forward at the same time.
100%. It's very difficult as we do this people work, and this is what you guys are doing. It's so underlooked. It's like, oh, just hire these snipers. They come in and everyone's executing, everyone's doing, and even yesterday we had an EOS day. So EOS stands for Entrepreneurial Operating System. It was created by a man named Gino Wickman. He wrote a book called Traction. He essentially researched all the most successful companies in the world, and he figured out, okay, what are the 7 pillars that every successful company has? It's like people, data, process, traction. They hold each other accountable. So we had our business day yesterday and we set our rocks for the quarter. So we do this every 90 days. We set our rocks for the quarter and we are ruthless around, you can't add rocks. We execute these rocks to our best ability. We're always tracking, blah, blah, blah. Anyways, we got out of the meeting and I was like, I don't even know how Carter is doing. Like, how is he? What is he feeling right now? Is he overworked, underworked, stressed? Is he eating right? Does he feel good in his body? Like, how can I support him? How am I doing as a leader? Where is he? And it's like, we're missing business health. Sure. Human health. Are we talking about those things? Yeah. And it just, again, it's back to this, like, there is no separation between there's business and personal, in my opinion, is all one and the same. If you're struggling in your personal life, it is affecting your business. Your business's energy is your personal energy. If I'm overworked, the entire business feels it. My energy right now is the business energy. When I'm on fire and I'm pumped, the whole business is pumped, which is also a risk. It's also something we're working on internally. But I am very, very, now we have a new rule is when we have EOS day, we're going to do business planning. And then the next day is going to be leadership work, personal conversation, ranking ourselves. How are we doing financially? How are we doing spiritually? Are we having fun? Are we doing play? And then how do we hold each other accountable to those things? Because that's just, if we don't have that internally, I don't want it. I want to be with a group of people every day that, like, I don't have to be working with them. I just want to be friends with them. And we know, and we're supporting each other and we're calling each other out when we need it. And it's just not being done. And I'm sure some people are doing it, of course, but I think it's so important.
Well, you talk about high frequency people and wanting to help high frequency humans live better lives, but also we talk about that as an individual. Why can't you also work to have a high frequency business with other people that are resonating at that household? To include the people that are participating there, but also like someone else's high frequency might not mesh with your high frequency, and that's okay. It's just there's a better meld out there. There's a better lid that'll fit a little tighter that you need to find, right?
Absolutely.
I think if more individuals played with that essence, we would have a lot healthier workplace cultures and a lot healthier, happier humans that show up that sometimes spend way more time with their coworkers than they even do with their own families, which is a whole other conversation, right?
Oh my
But let's
gosh.
spend a lot of time living to work, not necessarily working to live. And you are in a business of creating systems that can help Donna do that better, right? So we're
Yes.
evolving with humans, but we want to be along the path and enjoy the process along the way. Like life is not just meant to be lived in length, it's meant to be lived in width too. So for that entrepreneur who's exhausted, maybe doubting themselves, but they're still showing up every day, what would you want to whisper into their heart and mind?
I would say, first of all, if you're tired, I literally would say, just think, let's just pause, go to a coffee shop, and just write. Can we write out or talk out? I'm a very verbal person, so that's why I love talking to AI. If you're writing, write it out. I don't care. What have you been doing? What are you doing every day? Write it out. What did you do the last 2 weeks? What did you do yesterday? What you'll find is you're doing it just because it's a habit. You put together the schedule for the week. You got bids for your new cleaning companies. What are we talking about? You, the founder, $1,000 an hour work, brilliant brain, are doing things you should not be doing. And once we can start to create space, I'm a big believer in that executive assistant, in that house manager, trying to get someone in, part-time house manager, share with a couple families or him, $1,500 a month. It is the best investment you could ever make. You should not be doing your own, unless you love laundry and it's a passion of yours. That's awesome. Not my passion. Shouldn't be doing laundry. Shouldn't be emptying the dishwasher. Let's get someone in and do some basic meal prep. It's so hard to heal when there isn't space. So that first step is, where can I offload these really basic tasks? If you do not have an executive assistant that managing the inbox, is it a pain in the ass to get them up to speed? 100%. But you have to do that to create the space. And then when we can breathe just for a little bit, maybe we start taking that, half day off, or that just a 4-hour period where we can just go sit in the woods. And then now we're saying, okay, now I can think about, why am I feeling like I'm the only one that can serve our patients? Why am I feeling like I'm the only one that can build a care plan and a protocol? Why am I feeling like that? Once we figure out we think about our thinking, now we can even start the process of building the system to solve the problem. And also just want to whisper that I see you, I hear you. All of us, I'm sure all three of us have gone through this exact same flow. And it's the coolest part about business is it's not like sports. Sports is like, I was a college athlete, and to be really good at sports, you keep getting really good at the same things. You get better and you get better, and you get your touches better, and you keep doing your juggling, you keep shoot from that shot and that shot, and you get different angles, and you keep learning, and you're like, okay, step shot. I'm going to do that 1,000 times. I'm going to get so good at this same skill set. Business is not that. To get it going, you got to get really good at sales and marketing and figure out, okay, ops, I'm going to build some systems. Maybe I have a little bit of Zapier. Okay, I'm really good at everything. And then to get to 5 million, you have to literally just be great at supporting your people and not really be great at anything. It's like this, it's a mind F. That's why we have to be doing this training and this leadership work every day, because ultimately it's soul work, what we're doing.
Love. But it starts with the space.
Oh, you have to have it. You have to have it. Totally. So good.
So how can our listeners connect with you or work with you or continue to follow and step into what you are building and creating next?
I love it. I'm so excited. So the way that we work, our website is theuncommonbusiness.co, or you can find me on Instagram, Callan Faulkner. I twice a year do a AI training course for humans. It's called Automate to Accelerate. And this training is the best work we've ever done. So this is where you put your team through this. A founder can come through, but really I want your team to come through this. And they will walk out of it, an AI trained individual is going to be able to come into the business and notice things that AI should be grabbing. And this is a lifelong skill set. So my recommendation, we're actually introducing a community for the first time on the back end of that program so that we continue to learn, we continue to build. And the best next step is to get our Foundations of AI program. It's a 3-hour recorded course. Phenomenal. We're doing some updates to that program over the next few weeks. And then get on the wait list for the fall, which you can do on our website. Just go to Work With Us and then scroll down to the wait list and get on. We're going to launch is kind of going to be around that September timeframe of this year. So it's going to be a blast. I can't wait.
So exciting. We'll definitely make sure to add all of that into the show notes. So for all of our listeners, thank you so much for joining us on another episode of the Heartwork podcast. Callan, it was such an honor and a pleasure to hear your brilliance and your genius. And also, I love the way through this conversation, how you weaved AI into like helping to solve some of the problems and helping to just approach life and approach what we're doing in our own work and our own lives and our own inner sense, just to a higher caliber and a higher capacity, and utilizing the tools that we have available to us to do so. So thank you so much for sharing with our audience, sharing with us, and honoring us with your presence today.
Thank you guys for having me. So much fun.
So thank you for joining us on another episode of the Heartwork podcast. We hope today's conversation has inspired you to lead with heart in your business and life.
If you enjoyed this, subscribe so you never miss a release, rate our show, leave us a review, get on our VIP email list, and join our exclusive Facebook group, The Heartwork Life, to plug into our community and learn from us and other heart-led entrepreneurs on a weekly basis.
We look forward to chatting with you next time.
Bye!